Hey guys, welcome to Living It Up Raw. We are at TVS's Hosur facility to finally get a chance to ride this, the TVS X electric scooter. And as soon as you look at it, it becomes very clear that this is unlike any other scooter that TVS has made in the past. It looks very futuristic. And its sporty intentions become very clear because of the aerodynamic panels. You have a side-mounted monoshock. You have no flat floor bed. Exposed aluminum chassis and subframe. You also have adjustable levers. You have a bigger 220mm disc. This is the first electric scooter to offer single-channel ABS. So yeah, the sporty intent is very clear. That is the kind of market that they're going for. And to back this, you also have the battery pack, which is a 4.4 kilowatt battery pack. Claim top speed of 105 kilometers per hour. Can accelerate from 0 to 40 in 2.6 seconds is what they claim. And also has a range about 140 kilometers. Claims which we'll of course be able to test only when we get to ride it. And as is the case with most TVS scooters or motorcycles, this is loaded to the TVS technology. You have 3 different riding modes, you have 5 different levels of regen which you can adjust to your preference. You have cruise control, you have hill hold control, you have cornering lights, a 10.2-inch TFT display which has inbuilt navigation which will connect to any of your smart devices, whether it's your phone, your watch, Sena or Cardo communication device. So that's the TVS X for you. The biggest thing that they are betting on is how the scooter rides and what actually makes it one of the sportiest electric scooters available in the market today. And there's only one way to find out. So right now I'm riding in the stealth mode, which is the least powerful of the 3 modes available. So yeah, you can already see that the top speed is now capped. There's a limit of some kind, I think up to 50 kilometers an hour. All right, so we're turning and we are on our own. Now I'm going to switch to a sonic mode, and that was big change to say the least. We're accelerating, they say top speed of 105. Let's scoot down a little bit to see. We're already at 105, 108, speedo indicated. Well, brakes are good. I like the feel of the brakes. Feels very sure-footed even in the corner. Doesn't move around too much. Oh, the agility. Oh wow, very agile. Changes direction on the dime. Slow speed agility, here we go. And acceleration, go. Nice. I like the way it responds. At this point of time, yeah, around 80 is when I can feel it. The power taper down a little bit. It hits like a flat spot. The torque curve flattens out. So honestly, when we were just looking at the first patch on the straight, it did not look that fast. But when you ride it from an engagement perspective, this is plenty quick. But at the same time, the throttle response is also very progressive. It doesn't take you by surprise. You have a decent amount of connection between the throttle and what the rear tire is doing, how the power is being delivered to the rear tire. So it's also not very intimidating for new riders. Yeah, these bumps are obvious. It is a little on the softer side, but that's okay. You still have really good. Yeah, we're doing almost 80 kilometers an hour in the corners, and you have the stability required. We'll try braking a little bit harder. Oh yeah, forgot that it doesn't have ABS on at the back. So this is just the third lap. So you'll not be able to test honestly the dip in performance, because we're not going to be riding it for more than 10 minutes. I'm going to take a small detour to see if we can go on the elevation track. I have a feeling that in the stealth mode you might struggle a touch, especially if you have a pillion rider. Now we're in the stride mode. Yeah, I think you're better off riding in the sonic mode, especially when you're on elevation. And that's something which you'll have to keep in mind. Another thing which you're going to do now is switch this off, go to settings, vehicle settings, select a region, and I'm going to go all the way to see how much of a difference that makes. Alright, so let's see how this goes. They're doing about 99, 60 meter mark. I'm going to let it go. Yeah, still, even in the highest mode, I can't really feel it to the same extent. So I think there's still some room there for TVS to bump up the regen. I know they've erred on the side of caution because they don't want regen to kick in too hard, which is kind of the case with the IQ, where the regen comes in too hard and you're almost scared that someone's gonna rear end you. But on this one, it's a lot more linear. This is to test the ride quality on a bad piece of road. And I know my voice is shaking, but that's the whole point of this test. And yeah, the front is great. The rear is slightly on the stiffer side, but you still have preload adjustability. So that should help also ease this out. So we have just wrapped up the first ride of the TVS X electric scooter, and a lot of things which we always take for granted with TVS scooters or motorcycles is their riding dynamics, and I'm happy to report that this one lives up to its sporty credentials in the way it handles, in the way it brakes. When you're riding this in the city, it's going to be a very easy scooter to ride. At the same time, the braking is very, very good. I'm very happy that they have gone on and given this a single channel ABS, because the braking is actually quite potent. It's very easy to lock the rear. So at least on the front brake, you have that added safety net of the ABS. The rear brake, I felt the lever especially was a little too hard to pull, and it was more like an on-off switch. It was very easy to lock the rear. So that is where I feel that there's scope for improvement. In terms of ergonomics, I'm 5'11" and I fit on this motorcycle really well. There's a lot of room for me to move around. The ergonomics are nice and upright, giving you a nice commanding view when you're riding the scooter. The only thing I observed is when I was going really fast into the corners, I felt that the floorboard could be a little bit wider, because I could feel like my foot was already on the edge of the floorboard. And also in terms of accessibility, you have a really low 770 mm seat height. You have 175 mm of ground clearance. So even from a practical standpoint, this checks all the right boxes. The question which remains is, of course, the range, which they say is 140 kilometers, which of course could not test because we had a very short ride here. For that, we need to get the scooter for a longer period. That will also help us test if there is any drop in performance if you're riding it in the sonic mode at full throttle for a long period of time. There is no denying the fact that at 2.5 lakhs, this is quite an expensive proposition. Not to mention that this price does not include the portable charger. For the portable charger, you have to pay at least another 16,000 rupees plus taxes. So you're already looking at a price hike of almost 1.2 lakhs over the Ola S1 Pro. Even though the Ola offers you slightly better top speed, obviously is a lot more practical because this only has a 19-litre boot. It's nowhere close to the Ola's 37-litre boot. This also doesn't get a flat floorboard, so in terms of utility, it's kind of restricted because it's more on the sportiest side. And I feel to justify the cost, TVS could have added a few more features in the sense of maybe backlit switches, which would have come really handy on a scooter which has so many different buttons. And the fact that this has a 9-axis IMU, you get cornering lights, but you don't get cornering ABS. I feel like TVS kind of missed out on that opportunity, because then that would have not only given TVS the bragging rights of being the first manufacturer to offer it on their flagship scooter, it would have also made a very strong statement in terms of the belief that they have in terms of the riding dynamics of the scooter, in terms of its sportiness, and also not to mention how much safer it would be compared to any of its competitors, especially considering the hardware is already there. But these are just our first impressions. There are a lot of questions which are still left unanswered, which we can only answer after we ride it a little bit longer, and that would give us a little more perspective into why TVS have priced it at such a high price point, and if there are a few things which we might have missed out on this first ride.